Depending on your market, your prom goers may be looking for a hand-tied bouquet instead of body flowers. I'm going to share a few mechanics tricks that have helped me offer unique bouquets at every budget. Now before we get into the fun stuff, we have to talk about pricing just a little bit. Keep in mind that if you're allowing your prom girls to request super specific colors or specific flowers or varieties, that you need to charge accordingly. If just one girl wants mauve roses for her bouquet and you have to order in 25 stems just for the 8 or so you're going to need, that's not very efficient. Yes, you can probably throw them in your cooler and move them out in daily orders, but I really encourage you to upcharge a bit if you're allowing specific orders like that, because you might not sell them. You can add a flat custom order fee or just up the markup on all your prom flowers across the board, whatever works best for you. Personally, I try to have the girls choose color palettes and styles. If I sell a sleek bouquet in shades of purple, blue, and pink, I can use any flowers that I like to achieve that look. And then I can order smart and get in flowers that I know I'll be using for other prom orders or that I can use to fill website orders, things I'd be stocking in my cooler anyway. For all three of the bouquets I'll be showing today, I used bind it tape to secure the stems. I didn't wrap them in ribbon because I wanted you to be able to see it. And this stuff is such a game changer for hand ties. It's a self-fusing tape. It comes in clear or green, and it sticks to itself without adhesive, but it's still flexible enough to be able to stick and unstick if you need to adjust. And it's watertight, and it creates a great seal for wrapping, so you don't need much. It just stretches, if I can get it off here, kind of like corsage tape. So you stretch it and you secure it to itself. Honestly, just a few inches will secure a whole bouquet. Let's talk flowers. My prom girls are usually pretty money conscious, so I use a few different methods that allow me to create easy, full-looking bouquets that don't break their budget. All three of these methods use a base of cheaper materials that allows for my more premium or interesting flowers to sit on top. This also lets me prep ahead of time. I can create these base components 2 weeks prior to prom and then just pop in the topper flowers as we get closer to the big day. Now method 1 uses tree fern. I'll be honest, I was kind of prejudiced against tree fern for a long time because it seemed like an afterthought or kind of a cheap filler green, but I've grown to appreciate it, and one of the reasons is that it paints incredibly well. So for this bouquet, I used just 10 stems of tree fern. I bundled them tightly together, and then I used scissors to cut the tops into a blunt, rounded shape. You can leave the tree fern fronds alone for more of a feathery look, but I wanted to show you that trimming it gives me a kind of flat base that is really a textural backdrop for my flowers. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like my promers are always coming in with some crazy color combos. So while I personally wouldn't pick this palette, teal, blue, pink, and white is most definitely a request that I've gotten. I sprayed the tree fern with Design Master Teal Blue all over and then went back and hit some sections with turquoise for some depth. And of course, the final coat was glitter spray. The paint stiffens up that fern and prevents any shedding, and it took me just a few minutes from start to finish to bundle, trim, and paint. And then adding in the roses, craspedia, and the micro daisies was just as quick. Because my base is interesting, it only takes a few of these premium blooms, like these roses, to make a visual impact. Now for Bouquet Method 2, I utilized some Faux Hydrangea. We sell a lot of faux flowers at my shop for prom. About half of my corsages are faux, because the girls like to keep them as mementos. We sell them as memento flowers. But even when we're working with fresh, I like to mix in some silks to kind of beef things up. So I always keep light green hydrangea bushes on hand for this very reason. The individual blooms can be glued into personal flowers, but the heads make great bouquet bases. They're very easy to tint and they look very realistic, paired with fresh greens and flowers. And since I'm buying the cheaper bushes in bulk, this base only costs me $5. There's 2 heads in there. I personally think the green looks a bit more natural when it's painted. I hit this one with some Design Master Lilac, and then I paired it with these lavender spray roses, carnations, and spray delphinium. Speaking of spray roses, make sure you get familiar with different varieties. I intentionally order more open varieties like this for the bouquets so they cover more ground, but we use varieties that stay a bit tighter for body flowers and corsages. Now this last method is all about the greens. I use aspidistra leaves, palm buds, or flax to create your base by rolling the leaves. So for these aspidistra, I just use my fingernail to split the leaf vertically into 3 strips. And then I curl them back around and just staple them into place. So it's 3 pieces, just curl it and staple. They spray really well as well. I did some Design Master 14 karat gold and left some natural. So this base has 5 of those aspidistra curled and just a few painted to create this look in fullness. I didn't add a ton of flowers, as you can see, but it's a very sleek and easy base to then drop in something like a half dozen roses or a few grass loops, wrap it and roll out. You can make these bases weeks in advance, and if you want to spray your leaves with a color that's not a metallic, I would recommend a base layer of white or super silver, let it dry well, and then spray over that with 2 coats of the Design Master Color Tool paints. Dish for Flowers is just a bit too transparent for this application on the green leaves. Remember that color enhancing costs product and time, so if you're doing it, it's now a custom order and you need to charge accordingly. And that wraps up my hand-tied hacks. I hope that you sell $200 prom bouquets full of lush blooms all season long, but if that's not your market or you just want to offer something different or work ahead a bit, then I hope one of these methods inspired you to do some creative play in your own shop.